What do you make of the rift now between the president and his former senior advisor and campaign chairman?
Well, it shows that Donald Trump cares much more about appearances than anything else. He doesn't care really and hasn't addressed Bannon's comments about the Trump Jr. and Kushner meeting with the Russian envoy being treasonous. He cares that the idea that Bannon's been taking credit for Trump's victories, credit for the Trump presidency, that Bannon's been getting all this attention and really co-billing with the President of the United States. And everything that he has done, everything that he's responded to and put out publicly is designed to cut that down and to cut Steve down, the nickname of Sloppy Steve. It's all about trying to reestablish his dominance over Steve Bannon. And I think it's just very revealing that Trump has decided to respond to that side of it and not to the substance of what Steve has said, which particularly about the Russia investigation being treasonous, talking about where there could be issues with Kushner's and Trump Jr.'s financials that could be investigated by those looking at the Russia Mueller investigation. Trump hasn't talked about any of that at all.
Why do you think that is?
Because I think he doesn't care. Again, Trump cares more about the visual, the idea that someone is outsizing, overstaging him, overstepping their bounds. In Trump's mind, Steve Bannon was a subordinate. He worked for him. He's just a staffer. So the idea that in any way a subordinate to Donald Trump could get co-billing with him drives him absolutely crazy because he's a narcissist.
The president's, I'm convinced that part of this president's legacy is going to be his ability to nickname and label his opponents with names that stick, whether it's Little Marco or little Bob Corker, Lion Ted, Crooked Hillary.
He beat half the Republican primary field by nicknaming them.
1 for 38 Kasich, you remember that one? How does Sloppy Steve rate, you think, Kurt, compared to some of the other nicknames?
I think, if anything, it's more humorous and entertaining than even necessarily mean-spirited, because for a long time, people oftentimes talk about how Steve wears these multiple layers, how his hair is always disheveled, how he kind of has this almost troll-like appearance and not that of a normal political operative who had the position he had in the White House. He doesn't have the traditional suit and well-groomed and maintained, and Bannon almost wears his outfits as a badge of armor, really. Like, he sees himself going into war, and he doesn't care about being disheveled. So I think on nicknames, it's funny. I think most people read it, chuckle to themselves, and are kind of delighting in this fight between Trump and Bannon.
Mr. Steve, Kurt, how does this book affect Jared and Ivanka?
Well, I think one of the more interesting details out of this book was the idea that they had this deal that if one of them were going to run for president one day, that it would be Ivanka. I think, if anything, it showed, too, that Trump talked about maybe he thought it was a mistake that they came to Washington in these high-profile positions inside his own administration, inside the White House. It puts, again, another layer of scrutiny on them. I think it makes it much harder for them to operate. At the end of the day, when the dust settles and the sensationalism of some of these quotes dies down, there's still a lot of substance that they're going to have to live with going forward in 2018. That's going to be like a noose around their necks, I think. And particularly as the Russia investigation keeps unfolding and more people keep getting drawn in, and we still don't know what the impact's going to be to Jared Kushner, to Donald Jr., to the First Family. Will they come under investigation and indictment? Will they be part of some of the criminal actions that are being charged throughout the whole Trump inner circle? All of that is going to have a substantial and lasting impact on this presidency and on this year.
Kurt Bardella, Michael Steele, Happy New Year, gentlemen. Thanks for coming on.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Craig.